it's Christmas, doesn't matter if it's whatever this. People just expect to switch on the television and for it to come on. Anyway, glad to have you. My guest this morning is Mr. Akin Fatunke. He's a chartered accountant and he's also a communications consultant. He also is a commentator on public affairs. Thank you very much for coming on the program, Mr. Fatunke.
Thank you very much, Yori. I'd like to say thank you very much, Nigerians, known and unknown, because at the end of the day, whether we are physical, we are mental, we are supernatural, or whatever it is, we have a country that we must all put our hands together to build, under law, under equity, and under justice. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
It's so much our pleasure, sir. But as you say, we all have a country. We all know it could do with a fair amount of improvement, notwithstanding efforts in the past. But people, usually say, look, forget yesterday's laurels. Today, what are we doing today? What are we moving forward today? If we were to adopt that, even though we know that that particular analogy that I used, many could fault it. You can't build on nothing now. So some things have been built. But any way you look at it, whatever side of the divide you happen to be on, it's sort of universally acknowledged that fixing our beloved country is going to be tough. It's a tough thing, but it's inevitable because we do want improvements. So that will be the scope, theme of our conversation this morning. Fixing Nigeria, tough, but inevitable. Is that something you would agree with?
Inevitable?
Yes.
Must. English language talks about will fix, shall fix. It has to be shall fix. Because any other thing apart from that is on a way to show total annihilation, total destruction. May the Nigerian situation, and that is a prayer, not go the way of Southern Sudan, not go the way of Greece, economically speaking, not become a Roman Empire at one point in time that got to an apogee and then fell flat on its face. I think I agree with that 110%. Please take that 10% over 100 to really mean the fact that it's the only way to go.
Yeah, I would have said, and people could jump up and say, you are not neutral, you are biased. I could say that our beloved country is in a lot better shape than some of those countries you mentioned that have just about got to the brink. As I said, there are those who might say, we know why you're saying that. It's because you're a Nigerian. But really, I seriously think that we have our problems, but it didn't get as bad as that, or it hasn't got as bad as that. But then you could also say, what do I know about it?
I could also say that depending on what side of the fence, Nigeria got, in my honest opinion, to the Hobbesian state of nature. It became nasty, it became brutish, it became short. Yes, on overall scale. I am in agreement with you that one of the things that our parents teach us is to be on the positive side.
Yes, yes.
But I know for sure in the past 20 years, 15 years, life has been so brutish. The slippery slope and the velocity going down that slippery slope was so massive. We've lost so many. We had so many people crying. Economically, we went from level to doldrums. We went below minus on integer level. Yes, maybe, Yori, I will agree with you to some extent that the grace was still with us somehow. And the 120 million estimated, okay, maybe more than 120 million estimated, we still have our heads on our nets.
Oh, we're talking about over 200 million now.
200 million. Somehow, there is something about the Nigerian that is still a wonder to the whole world. Something similar to the Chinese miracle that came from nowhere to somewhere. That no matter how tough, no matter how bad, the Nigerian spirit, the corporate, comes back one way or the other, which is exactly what I guess where we are at now, we are beginning to face. It's going to be very intense. It has to be very focused. It's not going to be, it's going to be leadership where it's not going to be people, everybody's pleaser. You are not going to please the whole world. Well, however, like you are forced to go to primary school, perhaps you are crying and all that kind of thing. You couldn't understand why your parents would take you to school and the teacher will be waving the cane and all that at that time. You eventually came out of it much better. You can produce your life. So on a long-term basis, I think, yes, Nigeria is still alive. Still fragile.
Well, okay.
Still fragile.
Okay. We can count, I think, on that indefatigable Nigerian spirit.
Yes.
It's expressed in so many interesting ways. On one level, people hear Nigeriano, they carry last and all of that. But all of these things, what we're really saying here is that we know Nigeria needs fixing. We know it needs fixing. People have, contributed their bit to it. But because we have a new beginning now, what the APC campaign machinery at the time called a renewal of hope, remember? And so here we are. Any way you look at it, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has tremendous goodwill going for him on his side. Even if my measure for saying that is no more than that, in 3-4 words, he took out fuel subsidy that had been bedeviling, administrations in the past. And as Garba Shehu, former spokesperson for former President Muhammadu Buhari, said in a tweet yesterday, it's reported in some papers, that, look, how did he put it? Well, quoting him, he says that only a new government with, quote-unquote, goodwill that fills a warehouse, underquote, could remove subsidy without an upheaval. And it was his considered opinion that Tinubu enjoys such goodwill. So I don't think there's much doubt about that, but it's what you do with the goodwill. Because you recall, and this is not meant to be a comparison of presidents, but you recall that Buhari had tremendous goodwill, so much so that back in the day, a lot of us thought that wherever Buhari leads us, we will go with enthusiasm because we trust him. And we had so many things that we were basing such an attitude on. You know, he's a man of great discipline, a retired military general, and all of those things that we thought were going to. But now it's different. We don't have a retired military general. We do have a strategic genius, some would say. We do have somebody who has been long in the trenches and is very, very conversant with the private sector, having been there himself. We have someone who has, maybe that's not too different from previous presidents. We have someone who we now know has been nurturing this ambition for upwards of 3 decades. And so if you're planning a thing for 30 years, surely you're able to cross the T's and dot the I's and hit the ground running, as some would indicate has indeed happened to some extent with the Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidency, that the man is prepared. But it's still, for all of that goodwill that must be used very, very judiciously, we're dealing with human beings after all. And Tinubu has always said that human capital development is one of the closest things to his heart. So he's not going to toy with people. But these people are going to need, that is, when I say these people, we people behind any administration, are going to have to be on board with the administration so that it shall work. I think that really is the toughness, but the inevitability of it, because we want to get better than where we are. So it's, maybe I could ask, what's your assessment of the rocky road, how, quote unquote, bloodied we're going to be when we come out of it? Because we will come out of this. I mean, that's what people who are looking on the positive side always say. So how tough? Is it something like, you know, that proverbial expression in a football match? I don't mind the odd injury in this soccer match, but I don't want to be carried out on a stretcher.
Yuri, is going to be very tough. I think it's broken, was broken.
Okay.
Absolutely no doubt about that. We have 17 SDG goals. And on all SDG goals, before May 29 of year...
Sorry, when you use those acronyms, not everybody is an expert consultant.
Sustainable development.
Thank you, sir.
There are 17 of them. Nigeria was perched on reds. Okay, a couple of yellow. We still had some form of democracy.
Continuing my football analogy, right? Red means being sent out of the match.
Yes, danger zone. You are below par.
You're not cutting us much slack. Oh.
Nigeria was not performing. Okay. Nigeria was not only underperforming on the corruption index, Nigeria was not only underperforming in education, healthcare, even on low-hanging fruits. And I am happy you used one word there. Trust. Trust went downhill. When Buhari came on board, there was a lot of goodwill, like we have now, backed by trust. It's going to be a ramrod, and it's going to be looking at all those troubles that we had
and
squarely.
Face them frontally.
However, the fault lines came in, and all trust went downhill. Bola Tinubu is different, I must say. Bola Tinubu, in my mind, is not a military, well, I don't, he hasn't gotten a military background. I know he has a private sector background. But what he has always been known for, whether it's in uniform or out of uniform, is building human capacity. Now, building that human capacity is talent. And they will tell you in management studies, talent is not enough. You now need the soft skills of courage, determination, your capacity to plan and plan well, getting people. Leadership, Maxwell said, leadership is knowing where you are going, you yourself knowing how to get there, and showing people how to get there. That's exactly what has happened. So we were in turmoil, and under 1 month, okay, maybe some 30 days, we started seeing a glimmer of light. The glimmer of light is such that the drastic action that was taken on a bleeding patient, when a patient is bleeding and is losing a lot of blood, that is not the time that you rush into emergency. You move at a velocity that people may not understand, find a way to stop the blood, and then begin to tinker on how to get us there. That is what I think is different with Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
So now you are a lot more hopeful than you've ever been.
I am not just hopeful, I am confident. You see, when you have,
well, it's good that we've come to this point.
When you have a vision and you have your capacity to be able to move that vision forward, you are 60% near. Now, the remainder 40,
yes,
you have to be very, very careful in making sure you carry a lot of people around, and that 40 might mar the 60 if you are not sagacious. If you do not begin to lead by example, and I see a situation where shifting the paradigm, this is how we used to do it, that's what we expect in 1 month, this is what we expect in 100 days, you just wait until 100 days.
Okay, so it seems like you're very much in support.
I am very much in support.
Because you didn't start off that way. You didn't start off that way.
Oh, yes.
In fact, I was quite concerned.
I started by telling
I was quite concerned.
I started by telling you
So where are we going?
we were in turmoil.
Okay.
And under 1, 2, 3 days, I started
Things are looking up.
Begin to look up. Do I trust what is going to come out after all those?
Okay.
And I started seeing some economic fixing. I started seeing people being appointed. In fact, let's even go to the low-hanging.
We're coming, sir, because you know, we have another guest on the program, and so let me get another voice. He's a friend, Comrade Ayodele Adewale, organizing secretary of APC in Lagos State. Comrade, you know, Egbon Akinfatunke, he got me worried. He got me worried the way it was going. But then he said, well, I was doing it on purpose. Because I was saying, so do you have hope now or don't you have hope?
Oh, we have hope.
And he was saying, yes, he does have hope. And I was suggesting that most people in Nigeria do have hope. But that is notwithstanding the challenge of the task. It's not going to be a walk in the park. Fixing Nigeria. We know. What is that homeopathic expression? Or something about a doctor having to be wicked to be kind. I don't know. You know, maybe I'm mixing up metaphors here. But what needs doing is going to require sacrifices. And I was suggesting before you had come on that maybe that's one of the challenges. Maybe our people don't really know how to sacrifice because we've been cuddled for so long, let it be said. I've been paying what I've been paying for fuel. I like it. But there are economic parameters behind all of that. I might not know what I'm liking. NEPA, power bills, I managed to pay what I'm paying now. I like it. But now some people are saying, well, if you knew what you were liking. So that is what I mean when I suggest that there's going to be some very tough areas in the journey back to Nigeria's full potential. But it will then depend on how much we trust the leadership that we have that could lead us through dangerous, maybe even minefields. And then we follow them knowing that, you know, we trust you, we know what you're doing. I would suggest that perhaps that time has come for Nigeria with this particular presidency, but it's up for conversation.
Thank you for having me. I would first and foremost say that Nigerians have always sacrificed. They've gone beyond the point of sacrifice, and God has created a time where you have a president that have renewed the hope and is very brave. We need a president that is brave, that can withstand the tides, because we just have to swim against the tide now in order to get to that state of comfort. And that's what we're going through. And
I like the metaphors that are coming up this morning. Swimming against the tide, you know, is not the easiest way to swim.
Well, that's the only way to go. We don't have a choice.
So you're going to be swimming upstream, like those trouts that they say need to swim upstream.
We're going to swim upstream. At some point, it will get to an equilibrium where everybody will now have, you know, to rest and everything will go as normal. And we're thankful to God that we have Ashwaja as of now, at this time. Because if not so, if you look at the geometry in terms of borrowing, we borrowed to an extent whereby our income of 100%, about 95%, goes to paying debt.
Is that crazy or what?
We can't
Is that crazy or what? So how did we get there? And we have a nation full of chartered accountants and all sorts of people who should have been carrying red placards. Say we no go giri. It's what we studied. But apparently the accountants, they knew how to keep them quiet.
Well, talking about how we got there, right now, we'll only be hitting our time. But how do we go away from there? And that is what Ashwaju have started. Remember, many times when we come here, we discuss about changing of policies, re-engineering the policies and all that. Part of those policies that he has put in place is to stop the subsidy payment. And if you look at what had come in the past 3 weeks, I'm very sure it will go to hundreds of billions of naira that have been saved. And even the quantum of petroleum that is said to be consumed has really reduced more than half. And other countries right now are seriously sweating. So those monies are brought back, leakages are being blocked, savings are being made, and actions are being put in place. By the time the ministers start coming in, the head of directorates and agencies start coming in, they hit the ground, many of these things would have started working and people will be, getting the dividend of work.
Indeed. But, and let me come back to you here. I don't think, although I've heard this before in our beloved country, it's not going to be business as usual. I have a sense that if we're going to achieve some of the things you indicated towards the end of your opening salvo and some of the things that the comrade has said, it's going to be that kind of a situation where we just need all the credit that we can get in this, because it's just going to be hard. He spoke about some things. He didn't speak yet. If he had had time, he would have got there. He didn't speak yet about the major leakage in this country, which is corruption. We've had all sorts of, EFCC has been there. Well, we no need to comment on that. This is the situation that we have. Where was I? Who was saying yesterday? I was reading in the press, I think, about a proposal. Yeah, it was the National Assembly who was deciding, or going around the conversation about politically exposed persons and what they needed. So all the new legislators that have come in, they've got to screen them in a particular kind of way and that kind of a thing. In short, it's almost like suggesting an end to big governance and big government, another way of saving. But then someone said, and he's a senior fellow who had commented that all of this will soon die down. All these kind of suggestions that legislators should be seen in that way, and that all of this is going to die down. Well, that would then be continuing business as usual. I hope not.
You can say that again. Let me hit the nail on the head. One, I agree with Mr. Adewale.
Comrade
Adewale. Well, he became a comrade after Mr. And a very good friend.
You see, he's been in the trenches. Let's face it.
In the renewed hope that the APC and Asiwaju is showing, we have a real man of courage, a real man of conviction, a real man who has, like you said, prepared and decided that he was going to learn how to crawl before walking and before running and doing the pole vault. No doubt about that. But the Asiwaju that I am looking at will have to go beyond that to build the trust. Trust has been in deficit. In fact, a lot of people, even the opposition, will never, for the life of me or yourself, believe that Asiwaju will hit the ground running from May 29 the way he did.
Well,
that
I have comrade here. I have heard him say on many an occasion that people don't know Tinubu.
Well,
people just don't know him.
Do not know.
And so they are surprised.
If you are coming from the dark, you do not trust that somebody who is going to show the light will always hold that torch light there. So I do not believe, whether it was Bola Tinubu, whether it's the other candidates that, the Nigerian system and the Nigerian populace, the holoi polloi, never believed, which could be at varying degrees, that whoever is going to come on will hit the ground running at the velocity that he did. That was the first surprise. However, like he's saying and you are saying, the guy has been prepared. But did people believe him? People are not going to believe him. One of two reasons why people are not going to believe him. Okay, he's part of the establishment. We don't think he's going to be a Robin Hood. You know what a Robin Hood is? Yes, I'm part of them, but now I've seen the light, and I'm going to start to make changes. And then I'll say, yeah, wait a minute. You're making these changes, irrespective of what you had done at Lagos State. You're going to make these changes. Can you swim against the tide? Adewale is talking about swimming against the
Yeah,
tide.
what is it that he did in Lagos State? Because I don't quite understand it.
I will tell you what he did in Lagos State.
Yes, what
It's called planning. Planning, building capacity. And there are three things that he did. He brought that from Mobile, where I had that experience. Now, you get people around the table and you brainstorm.
Okay.
It could even be in the toilet.
So
it could be over coffee.
It wasn't anything wrong.
It was,
No, because the way it was said, I
absolutely
began to worry
nothing
that,
wrong. What he did in Lagos
yes,
was not only a benchmark, but a success that so many other people and other states got into. And it was what? Planning, communication, explaining. Even back then, as at now, when people couldn't understand, why are we going some of this pain? I had a vivid vision that this is what he was going to do. He now then did something else, which is something that I am very sure he's going to do now. Building alignment. Okay. Building consensus. And finally, implementation. Implementation is the graveyard of strategy. Implementing, looking at the scorecards, seeing how you can tinker with a lot of things for the life of me.
Yeah, I think we can.
I repeat this.
Yes.
I never believed that in just 30 days, this guy will not only hit the ground running. Yeah, he said.
There are those who will say, well, sir, with due respect, that's because you didn't know him. You didn't work closely with him.
I worked closely with him.
Well, because,
but what he has done
has
shifted and beaten my paradigm. I must say that. Yes, that's the truth.
Okay.
It shifted and beat my paradigm because people who also are knowledgeable, have the desire and all that kind of stuff, would not have done what this gentleman has done in 30 days. QED.
Okay. Now, comrade, where I want to go with this, I think it's important that we're speaking about the head of this particular ship of governance, but no captain ever did anything on his own. He has to have a whole crew, you know. He has to have a whole crew that could run into hundreds.
A competent crew.
A competent crew.
That's crew
in an ocean liner. So what he's saying, yes, I understand that, but I'm also taking a lot of the things that he's suggesting as, I've heard this over the months, that this is what Tinubu actually has. This is what he's known for. These are his special strengths, these areas. So there's that. But what can we now say about the people? Tinubu and his team might be excellence, you know, galore, but they're not that for themselves. They are that for the people. Now, do you have the people behind you? Is a question that any leader would ask, because I'm going to be taking them through some. I spoke about minefields, metaphorical minefields earlier. I'm going to be taking them through some real rough patches, but it's what we need to do. And but if the people say no, we're stuck where we are. So that is the biggest challenge, where we come up with the caption about tough but inevitable challenges before this administration, doing those things that must be done. Tinubu doesn't want to leave office and things are still very much the way they are. So the readiness of the Navy, because I was telling you earlier, sir, about we like free, we like easy terms. I'm among. And when somebody now comes and out of the blue says, sorry, you didn't see the blueprints. If somebody had shown you the blueprints, you shouldn't have been paying what you were paying for fuel. Now that you've seen the blueprints, you see, this is what we should be paying for fuel. Of course, this is a shock to my system. Do you think the people have the shock absorbers to absorb this, understand, and then follow in the direction of the administration?
Nigerians have huge shock absorbers. But again, I'll take you back to 1960. The founding fathers of this country laid a foundation for easy roller coasting in Nigeria. They did not envisage a system where we would be queuing in front of ATM machines just to have money, or we will not have power, or we will have it so difficult to go to school where ASU will be on strike. No, no, no. The action group that metamorphosed to UPN and all of that had a template. The template was for free education, that human capital is very important. The template was for community health, that would be a very robust health system to the extent that the king of Saudi Arabia was coming to the University of Ibadan Teaching Hospital for health care. You understand? That was the foundation. The problem of the Nigerian student then was to choose where to work, not that they won't see job and all of that. That was the foundation that was laid, if not for the interregnum of the military incursion into our system.
Okay, that's where we dropped the ball.
That is where the ball dropped, right? And it continued. How come Jakonde was able to quickly put all those parameters in place until tomorrow Jakonde is still being reckoned with? How come when Asiwaju came into governance in 1999, he could do so many things, even with the hurdles of the federal government that held a chain around him, preventing him to move? Otherwise, he would have conquered energy supply in Lagos and in Nigeria through the Enron project and all of that. How come Governor Fashola was able to move at the jet speed? Because Asiwaju have laid the template. And all misgiving, political misgiving, he was able to fend it off for him to move faster, right? You're now seeing the same man coming back in time to play that role again. He's more than sufficient, able, and well-equipped to move quickly, rather than necessary. The Obasanjo PDP misdemeanor is no longer there. He's facing history and time now in order to achieve all of these things. In 3 weeks, he has redefined a lot of policies. Even the Herculean abyss of the CBN that became a huge leakage for Nigeria have been blocked. And other agencies too, leakages have been blocked.
And by and large, Nigerians are still with him.
That is why he could get the money to fund education now, saying that you could go borrow money. But the circular thing is that there's no money that is borrowed. He's only giving you a booster to inject you forward. By the time you get this money, you go to school, you build your capital, you are going to pay tax. So it becomes a cyclical thing. At the end of the day, you have not borrowed anything.
Yeah, but
the government have only helped you to push.
But it's a new process.
It is a new process.
It's a new process, and oftentimes, in addition to being new, maybe it's a bit tautological. It's different from what we've ever sort of come to know beyond the very early beginnings that you spoke about.
There's no different. The nomenclature have just changed. I was with Chief Enauro one day and we were discussing, and I asked him, how were you guys able to fund education and all? And he said when they took it to Chief Obafemi Awolowo, he was first afraid that how are you going to do it? We needed 5,000 teachers, you understand, in the Western region in order to push this thing forward. Chief Maja, Okmaifa and the rest, they all came together. Awolowo formed a committee and they brought out the plan. And the plan worked, right? And same thing for Asiwaju. He has a lot of headheads. He still hunts for headheads. And there are so many headheads in Nigeria that are always coming around him, having discussions and all of these things. And they just put round square in round holes and things get to work.
So what I want you to end on the people. The people are going to bear the brunt. It needs to be said that unfortunately, those of you that were always in those comfortable brackets, quite frankly, there's no difference to you whether the fuel is 19 naira, whether it is 55 naira. No. It doesn't matter to you, to some guys. No, to some guys. That's why I say it is we that are going to be bearing the brunt of this.
Sir, if I may come in, words are life. We must be very guided when we use it. The Nigerian people are not going to feel any brunt, quote and unquote, right? We're going to go through a process. At the end of the day, what you call brunt now are sacrifices that we need to pay in order to achieve the end goal. I feel it, sir. Every day I feed nothing less than 14 mouths, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I buy petrol. I do so many things. The income is not commensurate to the outcome. I feel it. We all feel it. But for us to go through this route, there must be a price to pay.
Indeed.
To get to El Dorado.
And you do believe that most reasonable, normal, well-thinking members of society will see that this is a necessity.
That is why we'll continue to engage, to explain.
Okay. Well,
let me pick it from where he stopped.
yes.
We begin to.
Well, I beg your pardon. Maybe I should go on a break.
Okay.
Let me just go on a break so that we sort of clear that, and then we'll come back and continue this, quite interesting conversation. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Politics is defined as getting what, where, when, and how. But in the mix, many things come to play to shape the political fortune of any country.
Honorable Minister, sir, you misinform the public.
From the political actors to the electorate, campaign to voting, from debates to policy decisions, big events happen to engage us in constant conversation.
That's what we're looking for. Not some people who are talking about ethnicity. No.
Who is on your mind?
Don't worry.
Join me every day on Politics Tonight, where we dissect issues that shape our political destiny. Politics Tonight, weekdays on TVC News.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Okay, thank you very much for staying with us. Welcome back. In the meantime, when we were waiting on break, Mr. Balogun called in from the UK. Good morning, Mr. Balogun.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to Comrade, and good morning to Egmode.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, sir.
Uncle Yori, a very interesting topic and very interesting time for Nigeria. But let me be brief. Everything that is going on now is very good, but I have a problem. The problem I have is that now let's paint a scenario that this very gentleman that is on the boat now is not the captain. Another person from APC comes on board. We will continue the way we are. The APC themselves, let's paint a scenario after 4 years. If this man said, "There, guys, I'm going home," what happened to the program? Lagos State is succeed because all those ones that comes from his camp. APC himself shows that for their past 8 years, they have nothing to offer us. Nothing. Assuming this man did not come today. Nothing. For 8 years, they could not do anything. But thank God that this man is there now. I think the political party in Nigeria needs to have an ideology. That's where I'm going. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balogun. I don't know, before I come to you, let the party man, if he cares, respond to that. Otherwise, we'll come to you in due course.
Well, it's a journey, right? You must understand that APC itself was put together, getting people from different beddings, and people will come with different interests and different ideologies. It will take a while, in order to firm up these ideologies and the purpose. Yes, in the first 8 years of the APC administration, there were hiccups. Right? Now, with Asiwaju in place, Asiwaju is an ideologue. He was going to firm up all the ideology and set the parameters very well. So we become a movement. By the time Asiwaju is leaving, you're going to have a movement in place whereby sustaining the steam of governance in this space would not be a problem.
Okay, okay. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to your guests.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Uncle Yori, yesterday I heard someone say on television that the government of Bola Tinubu is taking too many actions at the same time. Unknown to people that think in that manner, Mr. Tinubu has about 1 million problems to solve, and he doesn't have 1 million days to spend in the office. So they should expect that he will take more than one decision in a day. We are this morning talking about tough decisions. I want to talk about the power sector. Let me restrict myself to the power sector.
Okay.
The operators in that industry are trying to perpetuate a business as usual attitude. The president must not allow it. In the first place, we have wrong people who bought the discos. They don't know anything about power, and they are there operating and engaging government money instead of using their own money. They are not providing service, they are providing discriminatory, what economists call price discrimination. The price of a unit of power in Iju is not the same price in Ikeja. Now they want to increase price without any justification. I want to suggest to the president that it is time, now that all decisions are being taken, it is time to review that power sector arrangement. Let him bring in companies like General Electric. They have the money, they have the manpower, they have the skill, they have everything to give us power and make money now that foreign exchange is liberalized. It is time to take tough decisions in the power sector.
Indeed.
And I know that Tinubu knows what to do.
Indeed.
Good morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. George, for calling in. Now, I'm even happy that this has also been added onto it. We're talking about the need to take tough decisions, but you're not taking those tough decisions against yourself. You're taking it on behalf of the people. The people might see that I'm suffering, but that's really the paradox here.
Is the reason why I said I wanted to pick it up from where Mr. Comrade Adewale stopped. He went back into history and was talking about the template that the action group had, free education. It was not just a vision thing, like he said. He got great minds together to see how it was going to be funded. Not a few believed that it was going to happen. Despite that, I have it on record that the great Awo himself was virtually stoned in some areas in the Southwest because people could not key into that. Oh, you are going to come and take our children into slavery, blah, 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 blah. We are back into the same thing. That was something that Awolowo did. I know when he went into Sekiri land, young people were virtually naked. He went on his barefoot. What is that saying? We need exemplary guidance to do the management of change. That is what you call it in business circles. You want to take some people to a particular vision, and naturally, I disagree with Comrade Adewale slightly. Yes, very few people will want to go with you. The vast majority, for reasons out of selfishness, greed, and the fact that, well, they prefer to be on that your seat, we want to go against you.
What then do you do? This is what makes it difficult. This is what makes it difficult.
Now, so what then do you do? There are a few low-hanging fruits. My prescription will be, if I need to take you somewhere, I must begin to show some measure of example. What is it that I am going to ask people to be tightening their belt? What kind of belt am I going to be tightening myself? What kind of things I'm going to be putting there on the table to find a way within my constituency and networking with the legislature? Can we now begin to think of how to reduce cost of governance and some things that come to us and show it to the people and say, hey, guys, these are the groundnuts. I'm going to fry these groundnuts, and I'm going to be whistling while I'm frying the groundnuts, so you don't think the thing is going somewhere. Management of change is very, very important. I have seen courage. I've seen vision. I've seen situations where Comrade Adewale, I agree with him that, yes, there are talents all over. It will not necessarily be politicians. It will not necessarily be, you have to be technocrats. And I'm beginning to see Ebola Tinubu that is going beyond what we always see, going to pick younger elements. Okay. Look at the military. Look at energy. Look at, I mean, the gentleman spoke about energy there. What about some of the pluggages that we are beginning to see must be tackled in the oil and gas?
Okay, I'm beginning to see. I wonder if this comrade is not a bit like, you know, I think we can reference former President Obasanjo when he was speaking about austerity with a human face. It's that something like this. I think it was something like that. I think that seems to be what, you know, what what Mr. Fatunge is, you know, saying that, you know, I'm trying, because you see, on the one hand, he is supportive. But on the other hand, sometimes I'm not too sure where exactly is Egmont, where is he coming down on this?
I'm supportive and showing the light. Let me say
showing the light?
Let me say something.
Yes.
Back in our days in Mobile, Bola Tinubu will sit where he's sitting. My other colleagues will sit there. We brainstorm, and we all agree, okay, that's the way to go.
Yes.
Overnight, one of us can put a call through to Bola Tinubu. Hey, wait a minute. While we were putting all those plans together, there are certain things I didn't consider. His first task will, are you sure it's not too late? It's better we begin to tinker. So what I am doing here is that I've seen a man of courage, like I said, and we just need to be able to put that into the next level by showing the kind of example so that people can trust us, people can believe in us, and follow us.
Mr. Adeyemi from VI has come in the meantime. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. God bless you.
Yes, please go ahead.
I just want to contribute to the program.
Go ahead, please.
Because this program always educates us. And we thank God that what Nigeria is facing, for President Tinubu to come in at this time is by God's grace. And we all know what Nigeria are facing, and Nigeria are patient for him to fix Nigeria. But my advice for our president is should do whatever he wants to do to help all the masses, the poor masses. We know I have a good heart, but it's not everybody that is running that love Nigeria.
Okay.
So Baba to do everything to make it possible, because all the enemy that is people that support him, that did not support him before, when they see the good he has been doing since he resumed,
they will come around.
Many people have been coming around.
Okay.
And I pray may God give him long life and good health to take Nigeria to the greater heights.
Okay.
This Baba has the courage. We believe in him. The masses believe in him, and we believe Nigeria can be better.
All right,
Nigeria
then.
can be good.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adeyemi. Thank you very much, Mr. Adeyemi, for contributing that. Coming over to you, comrade, you've just heard that it's about leading by example. That's what people will really relate with. Because, and you just heard, you know, Mr. Adeyemi call in as just a solitary voice for now, but saying that the people are behind him. But, you know, I think he was saying words that indicate, but we need to let him just assure us so that we can trust him and follow him. Well, when you look at the election and when you look at the percentages and all of that, people make the point that, wait a minute, there are quite a few that did not vote for him. But then since the election and since Tinubu's actions, there are quite a few that have been saying, you know what, I didn't vote for this guy, but see, man, I'm totally behind him and I don't want to change anything. So just, this is what I wanted wherever I was. But now I'm seeing it, I didn't know it was available. So theoretically, one could say that, oh, if you had known, maybe you would have known where you were going to cast your votes. So that whole question about the leader who is going to lead a nation that has been traumatized like us is going to have to show some sensitivity that I feel your pain. Nay, I know your pain. We're in it together. Tinubu he can take that on, can he not?
He has always done that. As governor of Lagos, as he did it. When he left governance, He continues to engage with people, and he's so open that even when you invite him to programs, as I then, he will come, go. He will write his letters, write his speeches, and talk to people. It's about engaging with the people, and he's still doing that. And
so Nigeria is in for a good time. Nigeria, well, maybe, no, that was far too jolly, you know. There's a lot of work. But you see, at the end of this, because you don't do work for no objective, the objective is that things shall be better than where they are. But I guess it's a bit like when economists tell us about the benefits of savings. Of course, you're going to suffer because you've saved it. But you see, after a certain time, you would then have resources you didn't even know that you had. So it's not quite accurate, but you get what I'm saying, that there's going to be some pain before the gain, is what I'm sort of thinking that we need to be alerted to, because everybody is still euphoric now, and everybody is saying, yeah, you know, we won, my party won. That euphoria is nice and good, but we're going to soon come into the reality. I think I heard Dele Alake, presidential spokesman, talk about interventions that are already underway to cushion some of these.
Well, I will liken the scenario now, just to paraphrase it, so people will understand better. It's like having a baby that is very fearful and is going through a lot of pain, has malaria and all whatnot. And the baby is afraid of going to the doctor's clinic. The parent must find a way to convince the baby that you need to see the doctor.
We need to go.
You need the injection.
Yeah.
And all of that. So you must continue to engage them, see that this is the best way we can get out of this. And when we get out of this, we will never see this situation ever again in our history.
I think we're going to have to leave it there. In fact, the producers are hassling me that we should have gone a minute or so ago. But let me just, nevertheless, still take a few more seconds to say thank you very much to Comrade Ayodele Adewale, Organizing Secretary of APC in Lagos, and to you, sir, you know, Mr. Akin Fatunpe, yes, you know, professional, chartered accountant, communications consultant, and commentator on public affairs. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on our program.
Thank you.
So that's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folari. Bye-bye for now.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Do you spend the night trying to get comfortable? Your knees rub bone on bone. Your back and hips ache. You wake up in pain? Not anymore. ShopX TV is proud to introduce the Contour Legacy Pillow, the patented, ergonomically designed tapered leg pillow that naturally fits the contours of your legs, knees, and thighs to help align your spine and alleviate pain. Watch, when you sleep on your side, your leg falls forward, twisting your pelvis and lower back, putting pressure on your spine, hip, and sciatic. But the Contour Legacy Pillow cushions your knees and cradles your legs, relieving stress on joints while restoring your lower back alignment. Sleeping on your side, your leg comes over and puts you out of alignment, causing lower back pain, hip pain, even knee pain. By using the Contour Legacy Pillow, it restores the natural alignment of the spine, helping to alleviate pain and pressure, leading to much more restful sleep. Old-fashioned leg pillows are bulky, but the anatomical design of the Legacy Pillow fits perfectly the shape of your body the way nature intended. You can even use two together for full leg alignment. Legacy Pillow is exclusively ventilated, so it always stays cool and dry. With top crescent design, it cuddles up to you perfectly and easily moves with you. Ordinary pillows go flat, but the Legacy Pillow is made up of soft memory foam, so it never loses its shape and the cover is machine washable. The Contour Legacy Pillow is now available in Nigeria, exclusively from ShopX TV. You could be paying up to 500,000 naira for an orthopedic bed that doesn't properly support your spine. But call the number on your screen now and get 2 Legacy leg pillows for just 69,900 naira. And get relief from back and hip issues. But wait! If you call now, we'll upgrade you to the Contour Better Sleep Collection. The collection comes with 2 Contour Legacy leg pillows and 2 Contour Cool Gel head pillows at no extra charge. The Contour Cool Gel head pillows' soothing orthopedic support will cradle your head and neck for full alignment, while keeping you cool all through the night for the best sleep of your life. Incredible! That's 2 Contour Legacy pillows and 2 Cool Gel head pillows for just 69,900 naira. And that's not all. Place your order now and we'll also deliver your Contour Better Sleep collection with no shipping charge. But hurry! This is an exclusive ShopX TV offer and only available for a limited period. So, call now while stock lasts. Your rest is your wealth.
The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
Our planet.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it.